Well, hey again, everyone. It's a unintended update video here on the channel because there's a different video I was intending to shoot tonight, but I'm not shooting that because I'm shooting this, and I'm shooting this for a specific reason, which I'll get into in a little bit. It's a bit of a long-ish story in that regard, but as we are right now in the midst of August, and we're releasing all the commentaries for the Stephen King's The Stand miniseries right now. We've got the first 3 parts out on YouTube. 4th part is currently up on Patreon if you want to get that in that regard. But that'll be coming out sometime the next week. Because we also have the Darkman 35th anniversary commentary dropping, all recorded and everything. And I think the 35th anniversary date specifically is next Sunday. And so I'm trying to think maybe I'll release The Stand Part 4 maybe Wednesday. See where I want to go with that thing so I can keep that on a regular interval and not push Darkman off so far off in that regard. Maybe. I don't know. But right now, that's all we have to talk about. I got that Lethal Weapon video out a couple weeks ago, stuff like that here and there. They were the one about the director's cuts. And that's all there is to talk about in that regard of what's already been out on the channel recently. But in a whole roundabout way, getting to things. Because as I got done with the last video, and I was kind of sitting around trying to think about the next couple months of what things I'm going to be doing on the channel here, because I like to kind of, in like recent years, I kind of like to start Forever Horror Month a little early. Start getting videos out at the end of September, so I'm kind of thinking forward towards the Angel Heart video, the Hitcher video, or anything else I want to do. I just like to get that head start because sometimes when I've got some big videos in the past, when I was doing like The Exorcist or The Silence of the Lambs, it takes a lot of time, a lot of research I do on those whole things. So extra lead time helps out in that regard to not like think like, oh, now I'm in the last week of September, I haven't started anything, and now it's going to take me like 2.5 weeks to get anywhere. By the time I get anything out, it's halfway through fucking October. So I'm thinking like, just start early. Who gives a shit? Just get out early. It'll sell. It'll gain traction if it's going to gain traction at all. End of September is fine. So I'm just thinking forward towards like, okay, I'm going to start this stuff somewhere in the back half of September. And I specifically took a week off just in the back half of September from work, so I can actually have a week. One, just relieve stress and get some time off and relax, stuff like that. But also, I can put forward some leeway, some headway into getting stuff done in that regard. And I'm just making sure I had the microphone plugged in. Don't want to go through this whole thing. I've done that before, and I don't want to do that anymore. But anyway, here we go. So anyway, I'm just thinking a little bit forward about what I'm going to do. And I felt like, well, if there's certain like long form, like takes a long time to get to, I should do it now instead of waiting later, because then I'm going to have to wait till like November, December, and it's going to get all jammed up with other things, and it's going to be a mess. So I decided I was going to finally do one of my TV series retrospectives. Now, I've mentioned 2 of them in recent times. One was the Terminator the Sarah Connor Chronicles one, which is not the one I'm doing right now. That one would probably happen sometime next year, depending on how this one performs, which is not as much of a popular title, but it's one I've definitely been talking about getting into eventually. And I went ahead because earlier, I think it was late last year, I grabbed up Season 1 of Human Target, upgraded to Blu-ray. And so I had the entire Season 1 here in HD and everything like that. And I had that, and I'd gotten rips of Season 2 in HD. Not the highest bitrate type of stuff here, and there's some artifacts that jump in some places, but not terrible. But it gave me all the tools I needed, aside from one specific thing I needed to actually decide, when I decided to do so, to finally be able to go forward with it. And that was to get Bear McCreary's limited edition 3 CD soundtrack for Season 1, which is out of print. I got for about $24 on Amazon Marketplace. And this thing's in perfect condition. It's got the booklet, it's got all the CDs, it's got everything. It's like I've got to have to read through the whole booklet, because there's a lot of stuff in here, plus a lot of really excellent looking photos about Season 1, all that type of stuff. So all good types of things going on the whole thing. So I've been working on this. I've already written at least 5 pages worth of the retrospective as is. and I've gone through season 1. I'm through the first couple episodes of season 2. Season 1 has 12 episodes, season 2 has 13 episodes. So I've got another like 8 episodes to go through. So, problem is, I was going through everything, and I kind of binge-watched all of season 1 over like last weekend before this one, a week ago or whatnot. And you know how it kind of gets. You sit there, you binge-watch something all day, and the next day you kind of feel like, it's all jammed up in your head, it's all cluttered, and you need kind of a cleansing. To flush all the things out to get clean again and get a fresh mind to everything. So I had to take a couple days off before I went back into watching season 2, which I knew was going to be a lesser experience, which is one of the reasons why I'm trying to do the retrospective, is because season 1 was up here, and season 2 was kind of falling, because a lot of problems that went forward into season 2, and changes were made, and stuff like that. And so this follows on from my old Brimstone retrospective I did back in 2016, where it is all scripted. It's all voiceover work. Because there's way too much. I'm covering 25 episodes of a television series. There's way too much dense information for me to cover without having it written down and scripted and precisely done, or else it's going to take me fucking forever to try to do it as an on-camera type of thing. So, I've been going through it, working on not just notes, actually scripting the whole thing out. And so the thing is, I got to a point feeling like, well, this is still going to take like another week before I get before I finish watching everything, and I can start getting to recording the voiceover work. That's going to take a while, and it's going to take even longer to even edit the whole thing. So I was like, I'm looking at least 2.5 weeks before I'm even getting a video out. And so meanwhile, we're just dropping commentaries, which is fine. But just commentary after commentary after commentary. And then we're going to record more commentaries. There's going to be a big kind of drought of anything else on the channel. I just feel like I need something to break it up for variety. One, for myself, because I feel like this is a very long process. A little arduous, a little tedious to a certain degree. I felt like I needed to do something else to kind of break it up. Maybe try to do like a quick turnaround video to a certain degree. And over the last couple of days, I was hemming and hawing some ideas of certain videos to kind of do, certain like review videos to do about certain films. Like, oh, that's enticing, but that Blu-ray is out of print. I can't get that with all the bonus features. I can't get all the stuff with the interview with the director and various other things. I can't get the audio commentary or anything like that. So that's out of the way. This film over here, like, I'm kind of interested, but there's no soundtrack release. I can't do it without a soundtrack release. I can't do all the elements of the entire thing where I do the plot summary of the game. The whole thing would be no score over the whole thing. It'd be back to videos I did way back, and I would kind of up the game in that regard, including the score over the entire thing where I summarize the plot and talk about the music and various other things. So if there's no score, there's no soundtrack release, and kind of up a creek. Then I was thinking about something else, and something else here and there. It just felt like I wasn't really hitting a nail on the head about exactly what I was excited to do, or I felt like I had enough time to really crunch into to do. And finally I came across an idea for a film that I kind of like. In the past I was not 100% over the moon about it, not one I went back to over and over again, but I felt like the idea of the whole thing was becoming very, very enticing, very interesting, very compelling for myself, and that was actually do a review on the original Total Recall. And so I decided, well, I got the old Mind-Bending Edition Blu-ray, which has a good transfer, a selection of bonus features. Some things are archival, some things are new, as when the disc was made, but that disc is, I don't know, probably at least 10 years old. And I knew there was a 4K edition which has more additional retrospective featurettes and documentaries and stuff like that on the whole thing. I felt like, okay, it comes to Saturday, this past Saturday. Like I've got Saturday and Sunday off. Saturday I had something else going on at night that was kind of hemming and hawing about. I'll talk about later. But Sunday, so okay, if I can get the disc and I can get it either Saturday or Sunday, and I can go through all the thing and crush things forward and get everything banked up in my head about the whole thing, I can probably get shot by Sunday night, most likely. And so I was like, okay, I was ripping the stuff off the disc, the bonus features off the disc here, and I was ended up listening to a podcast, the Projection Booth podcast, very, very good stuff from Mike White, And he had an episode on about 6 years ago, and they had some discussions about the entire themes and ideas of the film and stuff like that, and an interview with one of the screenwriters. So it was kind of fueling the information intake in my brain when I was on the road going to somewhere last night. So I felt like that's a good thing to have him, keep it in my brain, keep the wheels turning about the film while I'm not actually be able to sit down and watch anything about it. So I can listen to something that kind of gets the ideas circling around my head and get some information about the production and the progression of the whole thing. And so I did that. Then today I'm starting to watch bonus features and the interviews and stuff like that. And I went out yesterday to Screenplay and a half-price book, see if they might have had the 4K edition, and they did not. And so right after that, when I found they didn't have it, I ordered on Amazon because they said it would be able to get here Sunday. Well, Sunday afternoon comes, I'm sitting here watching bonus features, kind of like, okay, it says ship, but it's not out for delivery yet. And it's like freaking 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Where the frick is my thing going to show up? Ends up being some processing issue at the entire hub or something else like that. And they're going to be delayed till Monday. Like, Monday's no good to me. If I don't have it today, I can't shoot the video today if I don't have the disc today to watch the bonus features. And at no point me getting the 4K disc and not watching the 4K version of the film for the actual review. It's a giant waste. And if I'm not watching the bonus features and not watching the 4K, why the fuck am I going to get the 4K? So I got very pissed. And so I kind of, I did contact Amazon. I was like, I'm very miffed about the whole thing because one, today, Sunday, I originally had my ticket to go see the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 35th anniversary re-release, and I used a Fandango $5 reward for my ticket for the whole thing, which is non-refundable. And so I did get the money back that I paid for it, but I don't get the $5 reward back because I canceled it so I'd have the day to actually work on building up and researching and prepping for the video. Well, now you're telling me the thing's not going to get till here on Monday. Then I talked to the customer service rep. Oh, it's not going to get there till Tuesday. You promised me Sunday. When I ordered the thing, you told me Sunday. Now you're telling me it's Monday. Now you're telling me it's Tuesday. I told him, like, well, if it doesn't show up today, it might as well be 2 weeks from now because it's not doing me any good. Because now the problem is, if the thing's not going to show up today when I'm actually have the day off to actually shoot the video, because the rest of my week is covered. It's all, I'm either working or I've got other obligations. So until next weekend, I don't have an opportunity. So if I'm sitting around not being able to actually produce the video, I go keep working on the human target video. So by the time I get to next weekend, it's time for me to start production on the human target video. I'm not going to get to the point where I've got the script ready, I've done all the research, and then stop that and go off and do a video, and another come back to the other video 2 weeks later. This is supposed to be kind of break up in the middle of the whole thing, so I come back on the back half of the human target video, fresh, and come back to it with a little more vigor and everything like that, and kind of break up the whole thing on the channel. I told this pretty much specifically to him, like, I canceled plans that cost me money so I'd have the time to work on the project I needed to do based on this item getting to me on this day that you promised you would get to, that you're telling me is not going to get here for another 2 days. So, this fervor I gave them, because I'm a valued customer with a Prime subscription right now, they actually decided, since it's already in transit, they can't cancel it. But they're going to issue me a full refund, and they're not requiring me to return it. So I'm getting the 4K for free. But the problem is, now I don't know where I'm going to actually do the Total Recall review. I don't know. Because once I get their human target thing done, like I said, it's going to be, I don't know how much longer, because I still have to watch 8 other episodes, finish writing up the script, refine the script, double-check some research, maybe listen to audio commentary of the pilot episode, and then I got to go through recording everything, and I'm at 5 pages right now. This could be 6, 7 pages by the time I'm done, which I'm not going to be able to record all this stuff in one day. I don't think so. I'm going to have to do it in kind of chunks and make sure my voice is rested to come back and stuff like that, and edit it in chunks. It's going to take a while. That's going to take some time. And so, who knows? I don't know. That's going to take some time, so I don't know. Because I was on a real good track, getting the research going. I was like, the time's ticking down. I was like, this thing's not going out for delivery soon. When the fuck is it going to get here? It's going to get here like 9 o'clock when it's like too late for me to really do anything. And then they give me this fucking bullshit and everything like that. So I was really upset. I was really upset because I was churning forward. I was very much dedicated to making sure I could get it all up on its legs. And at least, if I didn't get it shot tonight, I can at least get all my research banked up, get all my notes going, and probably shoot it after work tomorrow. But everything else is just kind of blowing up. So it's like, otherwise I got to get the disc, and then I got to watch bonus features one night, then watch the thing the next night, and then maybe do the notes here and there. Then it just kind of bleeds into everything. It just becomes a messy situation. And so, I don't know. And then I don't know. It just feels like a giant mess, and like, I don't know what's going to happen right now, because fuck it. So, I was big on this Total Recall thing. Now it's going to smother out in the mountain, and I don't know what's going to happen. So it's going to be pinned on the board, but I don't know what's going to happen now because it's just blown up my entire schedule in that regard. Just kind of fucked everything up. So I'm in this limbo. So I spent the whole weekend not getting the human target thing going and working on progressing research on a video that I don't know when is going to happen now. So kind of the opposite of what happened last week when I was crunching everything in on one day to get everything, kind of watch the entire first season and get everything crunched in and work on everything. This weekend got fucking nothing done on it. And everything I did do research on for Total Recall, when I eventually get back around to it, not going to watch it all over again to refresh my mind. So, fuck. Sucks. Try to crunch these things in. This is the detriment of not being able to go to an actual fucking store and just buy something anymore. When they get rid of all these big retailers, get all the physical media, and throw it out the door, you can't find anything anymore in the store. You have to order it online. So if you need something in a quick turnaround and stuff like this happens, you're kind of fucked. So, what are you going to do? You pay for these services and they say it's going to be here, and then it's not here. Fuck me. So, oh my God. Oh my Lord. So, it's not really a happy ending to that story right now. So, Human Target will have to progress further throughout the entire week. And so on and so forth. So, let me talk about some good things. So, what I did Saturday night, because Saturday I was in a funk. I've been kind of a funk. Part of the reason for this entire thing is because I just got into a bit of a funk. I'm sick and tired of just sitting around watching stuff and making notes, not actually doing anything, not producing anything. So I want to do something. I felt like I'm stuck in a freaking nowhere zone. And so I was kind of like hemming and hawing Saturday. It's like, do I really want to go to this concert I bought the ticket for 4 months ago? I got back and forth, and eventually got, after dinner, I kind of got the energy in me to kind of prop myself up and get going and get my mind in the whole thing and charge through the rain down the freaking highway and everything like that. So I finally went to see, for the 4th time, I saw PLUSH live. And it was at Rookie's Rochaus in West Dundee, Illinois. And I got there, the first band had already played by the time I got there, because I decided, well, I didn't want to get there too early. I kind of want to get there a little bit later on in the whole thing so I could get some other things dealt with in certain ways. But anyway, so I decided I was going to go in a little bit later, and I still saw 2 opening bands. One was a band called Arcane Framework, which was apparently a band that hadn't played a show in 7 years, and they're a really good metal band. They're really, really good. They have a female front singer, front lady. And I actually, when I was at the end of the entire show, I walked right past her, and I said, hey, you guys had a really great set. I really liked it. So I talked to her for just a bit there and whatnot, so I thought they were really, really solid. Then the next band came up, where it was like, I really wasn't quite sure, because usually this venue, they play this venue at least twice before. I've seen them every time they've played this entire venue. Usually they have a certain demographic of types of bands they put on the whole thing, and it was a lot more of an older group of guys. I was like, that'd be interesting if this kind of fits in the whole thing, but damn, these guys, whoo, the outfit, these guys could jam. Like how the guitar's the hell in the whole thing, this guy has licks all day long, man. He was the star of the whole show, really, and he was just jamming out, and he was just ripping and tearing and everything like that. Definitely a classic rock band. The front man, I kept sitting there the whole time just trying to figure out what 70s frontman does this guy remind me of? And he's got like a blend of all different guys. Like David Coverdale and Robert Plant and kind of Paul Rogers and various other things. He's got all those types of moves that you kind of see with these old guys back in the day and whatnot. And it's like, he's got a good voice too. He's got a voice to back it up. He's got the look. and the moves and everything like that. So like the band was really tight, really good, sort of regular old classic rock tunes like you have like a Foreigner or like a Bad Company or anything like that. They're really, really kind of good quality in that regard. So I was really impressed. We like really won me over pretty quickly, and they really warmed the entire room up a whole lot. And I didn't grab it directly off of the guitarist, but one of the people in the audience probably saw me trying to grasp for one of them, and he did hand me off a guitar pick that the guy was throwing out there, so he had one off. So Matt Namero, whatnot. So his name's on the back of the whole thing. Probably hard to read with the script and everything, but that's the first guitar pick I've ever gotten off a show. I've been to plenty of shows, but that's the first one I've gotten, because sometimes you get up close, sometimes you don't. Like the Warning show, I didn't get up anywhere nearly close enough to be able to grab anything in that regard. And this one, with the PLUSH show, I was up close, but I wasn't able to get grab a pick or whatnot off of Mariah. But this was the first time I saw them, because recently there was some blow up internally with the band, because they originally were a 4-piece with a separate guitar, with a second guitarist, and there was some blow up with her, and she left the band abruptly before the tour started. So this was the first time I saw them as a trio, and they didn't lose anything in terms of like the sound, the whole thing. Like they sounded just as heavy as they ever did, and I definitely could tell that like they put on a bigger light show. They added a lot of different things to the entire thing. They had their own sort of light bars and stuff here and there. So they really made it a bigger show in a certain way, just in a visual sensibility in that regard. And Mariah and Ashley and Faith really putting in a really great thing, because I love the fact that they really changed up the set this time. Like the entire thing, brand new intro, brand new encore stuff, everything like that, everything in between. They even did an acoustic song in the whole thing, which they had never done before. And it was just like, I was just really pleased by how they changed up the order of songs and the selection of songs, because there's certain songs they had on the debut album that I don't think I had gotten them played before. That was theirs. And in the shows I'd been to before, certain songs I don't think they'd played at the shows I'd been at. So I really appreciate some of that stuff. And I was kind of hemming and hawing about how much I was going to grab video, because when I did the Warning, went to the Warning show last month, most of it got kind of blocked. I upload the videos, the music kind of got content ID'd, and they got blocked and whatnot. I was kind of hemming and hawing, but I decided I just started shooting video, and I shot like 6 different songs, because they do great things like how they just transition from one song to the next and stuff like that. So just kind of like you keep shooting, and the next song starts off just like, okay, I'm just going to keep shooting the next song. And so everything like that. So like they killed it. They really killed it so much. Like the great sound, everything like that, how they put together the entire stage show, everything, just the chemistry of the three of them really came off very well. So I'll see how things go off in the future with them. If they decide to go find another guitarist, they're fine being a trio like the Warning is, because they're somewhat close with the Warning. They've toured with them before, and I know Danny and Allie and Pow and everything like that. So they've probably taken a couple of cues from them, because like, again, the Warning have gotten a lot of those kind of like stage lights of their own, not just using the venue stuff, while bringing their own things into the entire presentation. So I feel they probably paid attention, kind of looked at different things they could do to amplify how they go about things. And I think they really, really showed that. So if you go over to my personal channel, I have a link below to go watch the videos I did upload and everything like that. So you can watch some of the clips I had and everything like that. So they're full songs and stuff like that. So I got the opening song, a pair of songs in that regard, and like they did the 2 back-to-back songs, the acoustic song and a couple other things, and the encore song as well. So really excellent stuff. Got some really nice photos. If you go up on my Instagram as well, I posted some nice photos I grabbed for the entire show, because like I said, I was pretty close up by Mariah and everything like that, so didn't have to zoom in quite as much on certain things, so I got some pretty decent looking photos in that regard. But my 4th time seeing them since 2023, and again, 3rd time I've seen them at this venue, so this venue really does them very, very well. And so, interesting enough, I think it was the fact that it was the drummer of the outfit who's actually the head of their management company, Pavement Management. And so that was interesting. Mariah came up and said, we really appreciate him and how he's kind of ushered us forward to make sure that we can stand on stages like this and give these performances and anything like that. So that's a really nice type of thing. And so everything was really, really nice. So, voice felt maybe a little rough today, but not too bad. But it was more my calves, again, standing on the general admission floor that really took the pounding. But I'm fine. I'm fine now. But not much else in terms of media pickups, but a few minor things. Because before I did the season 1 binge of Human Target, I decided I was going to take the Saturday beforehand to just do a movie marathon. Just throw a bunch of things on. Most things I hadn't watched on 4K yet. The one thing I recently got, because as I got close to the end of completing that Lethal Weapon Director's Cut video, I decided I'm not going to order this just yet. I'm going to wait to be more of a payoff for when I finish the video. So it's more of an incentive. Like, once I get towards the end of finishing the video, I will order this. So I actually grabbed out the 4K edition of Marvel's Thunderbolts. And I sat down. This is the first thing I watched that Saturday. And the 4K looks and sounds fantastic. It's 4K native. So no more of these 2K upscales from Marvel. They render the whole thing in 4K. The disc has Dolby Vision on it. So Disney's getting a little bit more liberal to a certain degree in that regard. Because before it was like, oh, we'll only put HDR10 on the disc. And maybe like the streaming version, like the digital copy version, they'll have the Dolby Vision or whatnot. But we're not going to put it on the disc. Seems they're getting much more looser in that regard and more generous in that regard, doing BD 100 discs and Dolby Vision and stuff like that. Up in their game to a certain degree, because I think they kind of, after the instability of the streaming wars type of things happen, like they've starting to ease in to be a little bit more forthcoming in terms of like doing more of the physical media front in that regard, in terms of those specs and various other things, and maybe pointing out, mining a few things more from the back catalog of all the different ones they have from Fox and Touchstone Pictures, stuff like that here and there. So I'd like to see that they're actually embracing that entire diversity of revenue streams in that regard. But I watched a couple of the special features of the whole thing. Not everything, but I was very, very pleased by what I was seeing and how the movie making was going along the whole thing. As the director Jake Schreier, like doing a lot of practical stuff, like practical stunts on the entire thing, practical things in camera. Not trying to do everything just in the computer or against a green screen. Trying to do a lot of finding ways to do everything very much in the camera and do things practically, and trying to transition these complicated shots, but trying to do everything as much with the actors themselves doing the entire thing, or the stunt people in that regard. But I just like the quality of what he was bringing forward, and he's kind of being said to be the guy they're tapping for the X-Men reboot, which I feel is a really good thing, because he showed so much with this whole film. He can work very well with a ensemble of many different interesting characters and still deliver a lot of substance, but also a lot of lighthearted levity in character and very much a lot of action as well. So like, I'm completely won over in that regard. I was kind of thinking, because I didn't really, I was so hyped for the Falcon the Winter Soldier show they put out a couple of years ago. Like before it came out, I was kind of like, oh, I think this is going to be the thing, because like I kept seeing, I'd seen a lot of interviews between Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan back on like the Infinity War Endgame type of stuff here and there, and like these guys are great together. They got such great chemistry. They're so witty and so fun. They got such a snappy quality between the two of them. And boy, that freaking show did not capture what they're capable of. And I was thinking so much like that. This film is so much the tone of what that should have been. It should have been that kind of snappy, kind of rapport between the characters. A lot of kind of buddy action film type of feeling to the whole thing, but still have an emotional core of the entire thing. I felt like that's exactly what that show should have been, is what this film actually is. And I really, really thoroughly enjoyed this film. I really loved Thunderbolts. It's really good, really excellent. I just love the substance, the characters, the idea of grappling with trauma and mental health through these characters who have been all gone through really dark stuff, the entire universe and everything like that. And like a lot of things have just gone really badly for all of them, and trying to find where they belong in the world and what their kind of place is, and trying to feel like there's a purpose to what they are doing. And so I like how that's kind of the underdog story of the entire thing, like these scrappy people who don't barely even see themselves as heroes, kind of coming up and kind of rising up to the occasion, really kind of earning that stamp for themselves or anything like that. So I thought it was a really excellent piece of work. I saw this in IMAX, and the film doesn't have the IMAX sequences, but still, it looks fantastic, and Dolby Vision and all that type of stuff. So it's a hell of a winner for me. I'm really, really strong on the film overall, and I'm very much pleased to have this in my collection. And the next thing I watched, because I've had this on 4K, my sister got this for me for Christmas, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and I hadn't sat down and actually watched the film itself, but I finally put on the 4K Kino Lorber edition of The Usual Suspects, and this thing really, really, really looks fantastic, because the old Blu-ray is not, it wasn't all that great, but this one, especially with between Kino Lorber here in the States and Arrow in the UK and everything like that, this is definitely one, if you're really much a fan of the film, and certainly there's certain people involved in the film that kind of raise controversies, and some people might not be able to overcome that, but if you have a mindset to kind of weave around that stuff and see the other qualities of the film that are very much admirable, and I was kind of like in that crime movie mindset to a certain degree, because I was very much working on my vengeance screenplay and everything, so this was something to happen, and I adore the score for this from John Oppen. God damn, it's one of my favorite scores. I just know it note by note. I've listened to it so many times, and seeing seeing the cues matched up with the actions of the film, like it's a very interesting type of thing after you've listened to the soundtrack like 50 times or something like that. So it's a hell of a good thing. So it says all the archival stuff. I don't think they got anything new on the whole thing, but anything like that, all the old archival stuff and the old DVD and everything like that is on here, and the transfer is absolutely fantastic. So if you haven't grabbed it, there's a Kino Lorber sale going on right now or whatnot to kind of snatch it. But after that, I was kind of hemming and hawing about some other things. I was thinking for a second about watching The Fugitive. Thinking about it for a little bit, but I felt like, I've had this one for even longer, and I haven't watched any of the films on this box set. So I actually threw in Star Trek First Contact for my 4K Next Gen collection set, and goddamn, I don't think I've ever been affected by this film as much as I was, because I was watching. It's like I'm just almost driven to tears with this film. It's some really beautiful moments. One is the Goldsmith score. My God, oh Jesus, one of my favorite scores. Lord, the theme he has for First Contact is absolutely gorgeous, and it's heartstrings, everything like that being pulled. Lovely. Alfred Woodard in the film. She's just the golden heart of the whole film, and Cromwell's a stellar actor, and everything melded together with the actual main cast is I've never been that moved by the film. It's just like there's so much about the film just really struck me so very deeply overall. I loved it. I really loved it. I never loved it as much as I did when I watched it for this entire marathon of films. Most of the stuff I hadn't watched on 4K yet. The last one, I was kind of the thing that kind of drove me towards doing this entire thing, because even though I'd watched it before when I first got the disc over back in late December, it's like I was listening to part of the soundtrack, and I was like, okay, I want to watch the fucking Warriors again. And I was listening to Love Is a Fire, which is my favorite song off the soundtrack, next to In the City and everything like that. But I love that song so much, and I was like, I had to throw this on last for like 10 o'clock at night. It was perfect hour to watch the Warriors, and it's still absolutely fantastic. Absolutely love it. I'm so glad I got that disc. It's so good. And excuse me, I have pre-ordered the Arrow Video 4K of the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and so interested to get it. I also want to get that, again, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4K set, which is supposed to be coming out in December, so interested in that, and some other things here and there. There's some things I want to grab from Screen Factory, but I kind of waiting for a sale. Because some of the stuff is a little, as things are, prices going up a little bit here and there, and there's stuff that used 4K used to be around $28, now about $33. And there's when I got Lord of Illusion, they kind of dropped down a little bit towards under $27. I was like, that's a good time to grab it. And various other things. So I was like, there's some things I'm kind of itching to grab, but it's I want to wait for a sale, so sale probably won't come till October. And so on and so forth when they usually do the entire sales and whatnot. But kind of wait and see if anything would kind of dip down a couple bucks here or there, but nothing's really kind of budged in that regard. So, there's a Kino Lorber sale going on, but there's not like a lot of stuff on my wish list for Kino Lorber stuff. So, as I got like recently sneakers and Monster Squad and whatnot, I kind of up to speed on most of the things I was kind of that interested in that have something kind of some extra value to myself at this point in time. Because another title I was throwing around as a potential review on the quick was like Snake Eyes with Nick Cage. I was like, okay, problem is I don't have enough background information. I'm so starved for background information about that film, and there's next to nothing. Like the Kino Lorber 4K, I think they got a commentary from like a critic or whatnot. There's no interviews from anyone involved with the film. The old De Palma documentary where he sat down and talked about every single one of his films in his career with Noah Baumbach. There's not a whole lot he talks about with Snake Eyes. I'd like to get like a long interview like David Koepp or something else like that, just get some more insight into the film. Like, I just started for having any production information on the film to really talk much about the entire film. So I was like, I would just be frustrated. Like, I wouldn't be, it was like trying to run blood from a stone type of thing. It's like, I really want to get this much information. There's just this much information. It's like, So, anything like that. So, various other things. So, more looking towards Screen Factory stuff, a couple of Arrow things. Of course, the Nightmare on Elm Street 4K set that's coming out September. Steve pre-ordered the Steelbook set. You know he did. You know he did. The limited edition Steelbook. So I'll see where things go. I was kind of eyeing for Ballerina because I'm itching to get that thing. I've seen the film twice in the theater. I want to watch it again. I was eyeing that Walmart 4K Steelbook, and I think it's sold out. It keeps saying it's sold out. I don't know if they're going to extend the run or whatnot. Otherwise, I'll just get the standard 4K slipcover edition. I know there's like an Amazon Steelbook. I'm not quite as I really like the Walmart Steelbook version because I had the entire thing with the fire and the ice and everything that I like. That's a sequence I like. I like the aesthetic of the whole thing on the Steelbook there. We'll see what happens, but anything like that. But only other thing I'll talk about, even though it's not a stupidly long video. I've had worse. Be short enough because I've only read through half of this thing, but right now. But mentioned a couple updates ago. I got the Jessica Jones Blind Spot trade paperback, and I read another chapter of the whole thing, pretty much another issue of it, as I was getting ready for this whole thing. So I could actually say I've gone through half of it right now, at least. So I've been finding it very good. It's a very engaging story. You know, it is just a kind of a standard kind of murder mystery, but there's still supernatural, like superhuman elements to it to a certain degree. Some other quality of the whole thing that are much more enhanced beyond. Basically, it's like Jessica Jones gets shot in the head and she actually dies, but then the bullet wound heals and she's alive again. But her and another superhero actually survive this, but two other people don't, and it's all linking back to some person that came to her for help and didn't end up helping her, and they think she's dead. And it's going around. I just hit a very, very much like a direct midpoint turn in the entire story here. It's very interesting. So I'm very engaged by the whole thing. I haven't really been directly sitting down and just going through comics, and it's like I really want to keep going through this stuff. And there's a nice framing device in this entire story here, which was a digital comic several years ago where they finally put it in print. And I was looking through the back of the whole thing. They've got some other ones that were first time in print from Cloak and Dagger, Iron Fist, Luke Cage. So they've put things out digitally that felt like it was enough of a hit. They could print out in a proper format and everything like that with very good quality paper and everything like that. Very good artwork. Get some Jess and Luke Cage there, who are actually married in the story and have a kid, which oddly enough follows on for the audiobook Breaking the Dark that I listened to earlier in the year, where that relationship comes to that point. So it's kind of interesting, like, okay, I listened to that thing there and got them to that point, and I'm reading through this, and it's kind of moving on from that point forward. So nice progression of stories I decided to go through and anything like that. So I find the artwork is very nice. It's very much to my appeal and everything like that. So it's just, I've been very much liking it. You can probably get it for not terribly much. I got it for pretty cheap, a little over $10 or whatnot, but good type of stuff. So definitely want to recommend it so far. As I've said, I'm about halfway through, but it's not a daunting read or whatnot. It's very kind of breezy to a degree. So that's going along pretty nicely. And like I said, I guess I'll just mention the fact that I've been, again, working through my Vengeance script, which I don't know if I were giving kind of like a plot synopsis of the entire thing in any recent times or whatnot for anyone new to the channel or haven't really picked up on it or whatnot. But Vengeance is a story of a syndicate top lieutenant, a hitman named Vance Derricks, who gets shot and left for dead by people unknown to himself. And he has to kind of bore through the entire criminal underworld of Chicago to figure out not just the who, but also why. And a lot of things I've been kind of doing lately is trying to also emphasize the why. He has to know exactly why, because it's a much bigger mystery to the entire story is exactly why. The why doesn't come up to like the final couple scenes in the entire thing. So you can't really entirely decipher the why. You can figure out the who a little bit earlier than the why. And I've been kind of refining a lot of these ideas, kind of pulling scenes out, figuring things out, because the main thing I've been working on like the last week is like, I was looking back to like the introductory scene in the entire thing, like not like the first scene, but the one that has the first dialogue and everything, that first interactions of characters. Like the scene I had was just weak. It's like weak sauce. Like Vance dealing with this sort of Russian gangster who's trying to like get a foothold in the entire criminal underworld. And it was just kind of a bland scene. It's like it didn't go anywhere. There was no consequence. There was no tension. There was no drama. It's not really anything there. So I felt like I batted this around like super crazy for about a week. Almost a week. And I was like, I wrote this scene, I threw this scene out. I tried doing this version of the whole thing. That didn't work. But the process was the fact that the more times I did the fun I was doing, not getting the thing right, it told me what I needed to have the scene do and have it not do. So it's like I tried to do this entire thing because there was a idea for this short film sort of precursor to the whole thing that I had back in like 2008 or 2009 or so. It kind of set the stage for the characters to sort of gray in. One of the elements of the entire story was called the Van Owens job, where they're trying to deal with this sort of arms dealer, street crime king or whatnot, called Richard Van Owens. He's very, very eclectic character. I love writing this character. It's fantastic. But it was the thing, like I've tried it before, I tried it again this past week, to try and integrate that main confrontation with this guy. He's very unpredictable. Very much a guy that's like, right off the handle. You can't really decipher this guy. He's going to do a lot of radical type of things. So I kept tried twice. They kind of integrate that confrontation into the beginning of the story, but it didn't work. It works in the version I have now, where it's told as a flashback by the character of Van Owens, where he's kind of pumping himself up, saying, have this very eclectic, again, vibrant personality, and is kind of telling this story off, like, oh, this awesome stuff happened a month ago. Look what this guy did, and these guys impressed me like no one else did, and stuff like that. It works better doing that, so I couldn't figure out, I could not at all make that scene the opening scene of Vengeance, because the problem was, it didn't establish the character of Vance Derricks as the main character, because Van Owens is the alpha in the scene, is the alpha in the scene. You're establishing more his character as the main character than you are Vance Derricks. Vance Derricks doesn't have that alpha quality in the scene that makes you gravitate and close in directly on his character. I needed to find a version of a scene that made him that character. And I finally found it. I finally wrote the scene where I still took the entire thing of the Russian gangster, but I took it from a later scene in the entire script that I previously cut out. So I refashioned it as the introductory scene. So it had more consequence, it had more confrontation, it had more drama in the whole thing. So I have like a 70-page document of just alternate scenes or cut scenes or stuff I threw out or sketches of different things. Just like all that stuff gets dumped into this entire thing where I color code each thing that I put into it, just like so I can differentiate every single thing, every individual scene. So I just have all this stuff like, okay, if that doesn't work, I'm just going to put it in this other document, just save it for later. In this case, if I think back to it, it's like, okay, there's an idea I can pull from this thing and slap it back in here and recontextualize it, or slightly massage it and put it over here, and where it didn't work in this thing over here. So like, never throw out stuff. I always have kind of a scratch pad of ideas if you're writing. don't just delete things. Just copy and paste it into another document. Just kind of keep it there as its own separate thing to kind of work off of later. Because you never know the entire process of writing whatever you're doing. Script, novel, short story, anything like that. Never throw out anything. Just keep it off to the side. Because you never know. Even if you have it for another story later on, that could still be something you could tap and kind of transition idea to a different story or a different setting, different characters, swap dialogue around, anything like that. There's always a conceptual quality you could still possibly mine from that discarded idea and reintegrate into something else later on. So writing advice in that regard. Well, that's all I'll say right now. So all that good stuff. So it's a increasing process, but it's still going forward. I'm very much excited how it's molding itself forward, everything like that. So, little updates here and there about the whole thing. So, excuse me. So, guys, as I said, certain things are not quite going the way they're supposed to right now, but I'll continue working on the whole Human Target TV series retrospective, a little at a time. So, I'll just give you some patience because it's just a long process to watch 25 episodes of a primetime drama and try to make notes of everything and form the ideas into something that is concise and coherent and gets to a certain point and doesn't ramble on. So I'm just like trying to edit myself as I go along, but also try to expand certain places of thoughts that, like, okay, I'm telling you a lot of information, but I still need to give opinions, kind of elaborate on analysis in some places. So working on it. So a little bit at a time is moving forward, and we'll see where it lands. So I'll keep you updated on social media and stuff like that. So there's always the link tree down in all the descriptions to follow me wherever I am at. I don't post on Twitter anymore. I decided not to. I've moved off from there. I'm more active on Blue Sky, on Instagram, a little bit on Facebook, the pages, whatnot. But here and there and everywhere, guys. So thanks so much for checking things out. And I'm also up on Tumblr. I'm back up on Tumblr as of this year. Here, there, and everywhere. I'm just having some leisurely things going on over there. So nothing much to talk about, but still anything like that. So, guys, thanks so much for checking things out. There's always a Patreon to get early access to things around here. Contribute something every month. Super Things featured to contribute monetarily directly through YouTube, but also likes, comments, subscribing, sharing links around, all help to expand the channel and keep everything very, very healthy around here so things will continue to move forward and be very successful in how we produce and output different videos. So, guys, thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.